Hi there. The Bible describes the church as the salt of the earth, as the light of the world, as a city set upon a hill that cannot be hid. That is, the church is what gives flavor to the rest of the world. I want to show you in this short documentary how the church built the current day world that we live in. They built the greatest institutions. They built the greatest universities. These great universities eventually produced the greatest companies. These great companies eventually produced the greatest products, services, and systems that we have in the world today. Come with me on the journey as I show you how the church built the world. The church played a crucial role in the founding of many of the world's earliest and most prestigious universities. In fact, much of what we now consider the modern university system has its roots in medieval Christian institutions. Even today, many of the oldest and most prestigious universities, e.g., Oxford, Cambridge, Paris, Bologna, Salamanca, retain religious symbols and traditions from their ecclesiastical origins. Before universities existed, education in Europe was largely centered in cathedral schools, attached to cathedrals, and monastic schools run by monasteries. These institutions trained clergy in theology, philosophy, Latin, and the liberal arts, but also began to attract lay students. In fact, Harvard University, the most prestigious university in the world, was founded by Christian church and was named after the first student to graduate, who was a cleric, John Harvard. Over time, some of these schools grew in size and sophistication, evolving into universities. For example, University of Paris developed from the Cathedral School of Notre Dame. Oxford and Cambridge evolved from religious schools and clerical communities. The church granted the legal recognition that many universities needed to operate. Many universities received charters from the Pope or other church authorities. For example, the University of Bologna in 1088 and the University of Paris in 1150 were both recognized by papal authority. These papal bulls gave universities privileges like the right to self-govern, academic freedom, and ability to confirm universally recognized degrees. The church shaped the curriculum through its emphasis on theology, philosophy, and grammar, rhetoric, logic, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. The dominant method of learning in medieval institutions sought to reconcile faith and reason, most famously in the works of Thomas Aquinas at the University of Paris. Even the study of law, canon law, that is, and medicine often began under ecclesiastical oversight. The church, both Protestant and Catholic, played a foundational role in the creation of many of the earliest and most prestigious universities in the United States. While the US eventually developed a more secular education system, most of its top universities began as religious institutions whose primary mission was to train clergy and promote moral education. Here's how that unfolded. The earliest American colleges were almost all founded by Christian denominations. Their goal was to ensure that the new colonies had educated ministers to lead churches and teach moral values. Harvard University was founded in 1636 by Puritan Congregationalists to train Puritan ministers for the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Yale University, founded in 1701, was founded by the Congregationalist Puritan offshoots to maintain strict Puritan orthodoxy and educate clergy. Princeton University, founded in 1746, was founded by the New Light Presbyterians to educate ministers and leaders. Columbia University, formed in 1754 by the Anglican Church of England, established as King's College to train both clergy and civil leaders loyal to the Church of England. The University of Pennsylvania, founded in 1740, initially non-sectarian but strongly influenced by Christian moral education and Benjamin Franklin's vision. Even Dartmouth College, founded in 1769, was founded by a Congregationalist minister to educate Native Americans in Christianity and Western learning. Now, the church didn't just provide funding or buildings, it shaped philosophy of education itself. Education was seen as a way to glorify God and cultivate moral citizens. The curricula emphasized theology, classical languages, Greek, Hebrew, and Latin, and moral philosophy. Students often attended daily chapel services, and moral conduct was strictly regulated. Even as this school expanded to include science and the arts, their Christian worldview provided the ethical foundation for learning and public service. In the 19th century, as Catholic immigrants arrived in large numbers, the Catholic Church began founding its own universities to preserve religious identity and offer education to Catholics who faced discrimination at Protestant schools. For example, Georgetown University, founded in 1789, by Jesuits, the first Catholic university in the US. University of Notre Dame in 1842 was founded by a congregation of Holy Cross, became later a global center for Catholic scholarship. Boston College, Fordham, and Marquette all followed similar missions. The Catholic Church's strong educational tradition was rooted in medieval Europe, was transplanted to the US through these institutions. Many of history's greatest inventors and innovators were indeed men and women of faith. Throughout history, faith and scientific curiosity have often coexisted rather than conflicted. Here are a few examples. Isaac Newton was deeply religious. He wrote extensively about theology. He saw his scientific work as uncovering the laws designed by God. Michael Faraday was a devout Christian. His discoveries in electromagnetism laid the foundation for modern electrical engineering. Gregor Mendel, an Augustinian monk whose experiments with tea plants founded the science of genetics, was a well-known Christian. James Clerk Maxwell, a strong Christian who formulated the equations of electromagnetism and transforming physics. Samuel Morse, inventor of the telegraph and the Morse code, was also a committed Christian who saw his work as guided by divine inspiration. George Washington Carver was a scientist and inventor who often credited his agricultural innovations to his faith in God. For many of these figures, faith inspired their pursuit of knowledge. They believed that studying creation was a way to understand the Creator, that science revealed the order and wisdom of God. The Christian origin of the greatest universities of the world is reflected by their mottos. For Harvard University, for example, its motto was Truth for Christ and the Church. As for Yale University, its motto is translated Light and Truth. For Princeton University, its motto is translated Under God's power, she flourishes. As for University of Oxford, its motto was taken directly from Psalm 27 and verse 1, "The Lord is my light." Yes. Now, how about the University of Glasgow, founded in 1451? Its motto is taken directly from John chapter 14 and verse 6, translated, "The way, the truth, the life." Many great entrepreneurs believed that business was a calling, a way to serve God and others, not just a means to make money. Their faith inspired principles like honesty, stewardship, service, and generosity. For John D. Rockefeller, founder of Standard Oil, one of the wealthiest men in history, he was a devout Baptist who tithed from his first paycheck. He believed his wealth was a trust from God to be used for the public good. He gave away over $500 million to religious, educational, and medical causes. In his words, he said, "God gave me my money." As for James Cash Penney, founder of the retail chain JCPenney, he built his company on the golden rule: do unto others as you will have them do unto you. His stories were known for fairness, integrity, and quality. His faith guided his treatment of employees and customers alike. As for Truett Cathy, founder of Chick-fil-A, he was a lifelong Southern Baptist. He closed all restaurants on Sunday to honor the Sabbath. His leadership philosophy was, "We are not in the chicken business, we are in the people business." As for R.G. Letourneau, industrialist and inventor, he was known as God's businessman. He gave away 90% of his income to Christian causes. He revolutionized earth-moving equipment and construction technology. The founding fathers of the most powerful nation in the world, the United States, were men who were deeply Christian and believed in the Bible. George Washington was a lifelong Anglican. He frequently spoke of divine providence guiding the nation. He prayed regularly and called for national days of thanksgiving and prayer. In his words, "It is impossible to rightly govern the world without God and the Bible." As for John Lay, the first Chief Justice of the US Supreme Court, he was deeply Christian and co-founder of the American Bible Society. In his words, "Providence has given to our people the choice of their rulers, and it is the duty of our Christian nation to select and prefer Christians for their rulers." As for Patrick Henry, famous for "Give me liberty or give me death," he was a committed Christian who believed freedom was a gift from God. In his words, "It cannot be emphasized too strongly or too often that this great nation was founded by Christians, not on religions, but on the gospel of Jesus Christ." As for Samuel Adams, known as the father of the American Revolution, he was a strong Puritan and advocated Christian virtue as the foundation of civic life. Thomas Jefferson, former president of the US, believed in God, divine creation, and moral law, but rejected certain church dogmas. He authored the Declaration of Independence, which appeals to nature's God and Creator. He compiled the Jefferson Bible, focusing on Jesus' moral teachings. Benjamin Franklin, also a past president, was raised a Presbyterian, a deist who believed in a creator who governed the world by moral law. He called for prayer at the Constitutional Convention. In his words, "I have lived, sir, a long time, and the longer I live, the more convincing proofs I see of this truth, that God governs in the affairs of men." James Madison, former president, father of the Constitution, studied theology at Princeton under Reverend John Witherspoon. He believed religion and morality were necessary to preserve liberty.